Britain's rental market is at breaking point.
I have 2 children. I'm living in what is like a crack den.
She's just chatting, yeah? Straight up.
With not enough homes to go round.
No one should be allowed to live like this. This is unacceptable.
This is our home. This ain't his land.
Soaring rents.
I'm going to have to mortgage my pension to pay this debt off.
Got a hell of a strain on me. You still have to kill a person.
Oh my God.
Squalid conditions.
I'm gonna have to climb over the settee with my shoes on.
This could be criminal negligence.
Spiralling property fraud.
I'll see you in court.
You guys ain't meant to be here, so we have a problem.
Bedsits to mansions.
Hello, enforcement agent.
Squats to drug farms.
They have been growing cannabis.
This is Nightmare Tenants.
Get your hands off me, dog. No. Do not put your hands on me, right? I will not stand for that.
Slum Landlords.
You live in a property, you've got to pay rent, but to not pay for 6 years is just quite incredible.
Eviction expert Paul Shamplina is working on a case where the landlord is owed over £35,000 in rent.
I've reassured him I'm going to get his property back. I mean, I want to try and collect his £35,000, but I'm not Superman.
He's meeting the landlord, Duncan, near the property to start eviction proceedings.
Duncan's not a bad landlord. Duncan!
Good to see you again.
Clearly, in this case, the tenant took total advantage of him.
She hadn't had a penny since she moved in. This is what happens when you try and help people out. It comes back and bites you, really, so...
Duncan met his tenant through a friend. At the time, she was homeless.
I did feel sorry for her. She explained that she didn't have any money at the moment, but she was, you know, getting sorted, and once she got sorted, then she'd be able to, you know, pay the rent, etc. But that wasn't the case.
Well, look, show me where it is, and let's just go and see if we can get her in.
Yeah, great.
So it's up here, is it?
Yeah.
Sometimes you fall on hard times and things happen. But you know what? 6 years? Ridiculous. Is it this one in the corner?
Yeah.
Hope we get her in. Look up there. The blinds are open. Hi, I'm with Duncan, your landlord. I've got a notice to serve you. You owe £35,000 rent arrears. You haven't paid for 6 years. Why haven't you paid?
Yeah, what's going on?
You have an obligation to pay the rent. Why haven't you paid him? I normally have that reaction in the morning, Duncan. All I can say is she's been served.
One of the reasons the case has dragged on for so long is Duncan made a costly error the day he handed over his property.
I met her on the afternoon. There wasn't enough time, I guess, to come back and do all the paperwork. So I'll just give her the keys. I'll be back in a few days and we'll sort out the tenancy agreement, etc.
Despite sending her the agreement, she refused to sign it. He failed to pursue it and allowed the debt to increase astronomically. The tenant now has 14 days to pay up, or Duncan will take her to court.
I mean, what are the hopes of a tenant paying 6 years rent arrears within 14 days?
So today it's a case of seeing if she's actually moved out.
It's 2 weeks since the notice was served, and Duncan is returning to the property.
I think she'll dig her heels in and she'll hold out as long as possible. I think her behaviour is just brazen, totally brazen. She's obviously that type of person where she's quite happy to ask for handouts and no intention of ever paying anybody back. What's going on? What's happening?
You've given me the letter, you're taking me to court. I'll be gone in about 5 weeks.
Well, I just want to know what's happening. What's...
Because I'm on my own, and I've got a bloody spinal injury, and I can barely get to the door. And I'll tell you exactly why I've got a spinal injury. Because I fell off that decking, what you never mended.
So you didn't want to pay any rent, but then you wanted me to come round and fix your decking?
Listen, come at a reasonable hour, and I'll talk to you, because I can't be asked.
Well, it's been 6 years.
I'm not arguing with you on the front.
Well, there we are. She's moving out in 5 weeks, apparently.
You can take me to court for the money, because I'll just turn around because I'll take you to court. Because I fell 4 foot and I've done irreplaceable spinal damage, and I have to get in a bungalow.
So are you going to pay your rent when you move into a bungalow then?
Yeah, absolutely.
So why aren't you paying your rent now?
Duncan, I'm not arguing with you.
Well, I'm just asking. She slipped on some decking, which is my fault, obviously. It looks like it's going to be caught. I don't think she'll be moving out. But there we go. At least we got an answer.
She's still making excuses after owing over £30,000 in rent arrears. What does that tell you about this woman? She wasn't going to leave and wasn't going to pay the rent.
Duncan now has no option but to take his tenant to court.
Parking was so bad on here.
3 weeks ago, 2 tenants reported an issue at one of letting agent Paul Ainsworth-Lord's properties.
We got a call on our emergency support line that there was a leak from upstairs, which was coming into their flat, and apparently it tripped the electrics. The guy in the flat upstairs turned the stopcock off to stop the flow. 15-20 minutes later, plumbing was there, problem fixed. Oh yeah.
The tenants moved out soon after, claiming the place is uninhabitable as they've been without electricity.
Come in and look at what a firework does.
They've agreed to meet Paul at the property to show him the problem.
I'm going to see what it is you've been going on about.
It's all down here, mate.
So
no electrics for 3 weeks.
Right, hang on.
Nothing works either.
I weren't touching anything, mate.
It's telling us that the place isn't safe. It's flooded out. We haven't done this, this, and this. When I open the electric cupboard, there's one trip switch down, the lighting one. One little flick, and everything's fine, and it was only the lights. It wasn't nothing else. Obviously, it's tripped, which it's meant to do. If you get any water, it's meant to trip.
Yeah.
So that's that. So the electric's on.
But is it safe?
Yes, it's safe.
The lights may be back on, but the tenants insist the property is still dangerous and they can't move back in.
So you've had 3 weeks with no electric, and I come in here and flick the switch, and it's fine.
But what, we can't do that. You told me.
I've got the nieces and nephews. You think it's safe to have my nieces and nephews?
Yeah, it's safe.
No.
10 minutes into the meeting, and the man's father arrives to have his say.
Who are you?
Who are you? It's the father.
Yeah.
It's the father of mine.
Of yours?
Yeah, yeah.
So you're not party to this agreement?
He has a cowboy.
Nobody.
He pays cash in hand.
No Webber
The
Neon.
electricity he uses is called Roy,
Yeah,
and he pays him cash in hand.
Right.
This guy is
Yeah,
not
Roy's been round.
qualified.
We don't have a
electrician.
sparky called right.
You broke the agreement by not supplying a
We haven't broke
qualified
no
electrician.
Paul maintains he sent an electrician round on several occasions, but they were unable to gain access as the locks had been changed.
There's no way on God's earth that's not a breach of health and safety.
You ain't really helping things, because all you're doing is shouting.
Are you the
A load of nonsense.
Are you the owner, the landlord?
I'm the agent. I act for the landlord.
I'm acting for him.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
He is. I want him to.
I wasn't going up to have a row, but they sure as hell wanted to have a row with me.
You're supposed to be out today.
Next, in County Durham,
£36,000. When are you going to pay that?
Your agreement's terminated.
and in Darwen.
You just need to be quiet. You're just aggravating the situation.
All our furniture's wrecked.
So first of all, the electric's on.
Letting agent Paul Ainsworth-Lord is meeting two tenants who abandoned their home after a leak tripped the electrics.
You breached over the
They have not. These things happen.
The tenants owe £900 in rent and believe they have grounds to end the tenancy agreement.
Communicate, Lee. Agreement's terminated. Health and safety.
We're not finished yet. Well, we're not finished yet. We're not finished yet.
Go.
You're not finished yet because
You're finished now. Go.
you've still got the rent clock ticking on this property.
It's terminated.
You've still got a rent clock ticking.
I see you in court. I see you in court with health and safety.
Now, what are you doing with the keys?
You're okay.
Absolute joke.
Your tenancy can't terminate until you give notice properly.
Trust me, health and safety is terminated.
You just need to be quiet. You're just aggravating the situation. All you're doing is just making a lot of noise. You're not being rational.
Health and safety.
You're not being rational.
Health and safety.
You're not being rational.
Health and safety. Your agreement's terminated.
Nonsense.
Your agreement's terminated.
Rubbish.
Rubbish.
Rubbish. All you do is cause a load of noise. You can't have a sensible conversation with you.
I'm having a sensible conversation.
You're not. All you're doing is
telling you
making a load of noise.
I'm telling you your terms.
And it's nothing to do with you.
Nothing to do with you either.
Where's that key?
See you later.
Just, you couldn't have a rational conversation when he was just shouting a load of nonsense. You think you can chuck a key at you and that's the end of the tenancy? Well, it don't work like that. There's a process. Tenancies are in place to protect the tenant and the landlord. I'm not particularly happy with how they've left it, to be honest. I mean, you can see the state of the carpet. It's bloody filthy. Now, when they moved in, this was absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The arrears is only half the picture because there's another half yet to come of the cost of making this place right again. Look at the state of the kitchen. Bloody filthy, this. It's absolutely minging. This was all brand new. I suppose the leak's to blame for this as well, eh? Would you come for Sunday dinner? No, I'd be busy that day. The story seems a bit weak to me. The guy turned the water off straight away, so it wasn't even a continual leak, it was just a leak. End of the day, you're the rent. I want the rent. Make sure all the lights are off.
It's not just the rent arrears the tenants owe. According to their agreement, they're liable for the rent until their tenancy ends and to pay for any damage they cause.
Oh, and by the way, we're making place right again, and you're getting the bill.
Duncan Belton's tenant has lived rent-free for over 6 years and owes him over £36,000.
I can't turn back time, I can't change anything. So you've just got to be pragmatic about it, and hopefully we'll get good result today and get the property back. Just got to make sure that the next tenant pays the rent.
10 weeks have passed since he served her with an eviction notice, and the case is due to be heard in court. Advocate Stephen is overseeing today's court proceedings.
Mr. Belton, hi. How are you? I'm here to get possession of the property, which I think is long overdue.
Absolutely.
And to seek recovery of the arrears, which I think are quite significant.
Yeah, lovely. Good, great. Well, we've got notice of possession, so that's absolutely fantastic. Which is what we were after, really. So, yeah, pretty pleased, really.
The tenant didn't show. She now has 14 days to leave, or Duncan has the right to call in the bailiffs.
It is a relief that finally, after all this time, all these years, we can finally get the property back and let it to somebody who, you know, appreciates it. 2 weeks is up today, so be interested to see if she has actually left. Well, here we are.
haven't you left?
Waiting for the van.
Well,
Okay.
no, it's not okay. You're supposed to be out today.
I'm still bloody tired, you know.
You've had more notice than anybody could have had. £36,000. When are you going to pay that? Just wondering, that's all. So there you go. Still not moved out. Leave it to it.
Oh.
Hi, Paul.
Unsure what to do next, Duncan calls Paul Shamplina.
I'm stood outside the house and the lady's still there.
What, do you believe that she is going to leave or not?
Well, there looks like there is some stuff boxed up.
Knock on the door again,
Yeah.
okay, and say, look, can you please text me to confirm that I'm getting the keys back and that you have vacated, so I don't have to incur extra expense in instructing the county court bailiffs.
All right, thanks, Paul.
Take care.
All right,
Cheers.
cheers, bye.
I don't understand people like this, that they expect to live rent-free, basically. I've always been brought up that what you get in life is what you work for.
Will you let me know that you've moved out later today? Will you email me or text me? And then I won't need to instruct the bailiffs. OK? She's not engaging.
The problem we've got is that we don't know whether she is going to leave or she's not going to leave.
If she's still here tomorrow, then it's the bailiffs. I can't change things, so I'll just have to just wait a bit longer.
Right, okay. Oh, that's interesting, Paul. That's that Scott on the phone. If you want to see him, you can go to his dad's house.
It's been a week now since discussions over a leak between letting agent Paul Ainsworth-Lord and his tenants turned sour.
Me going in their house with potentially 3 of them, and there might be more, I'm not going to be a lamb to the slaughter.
Be like walking into Lion's Den.
It is what it is, isn't it? I'm sure we've dealt with worse, haven't we?
The tenants left the property a month early, claiming it was unsafe. But Paul believes it's just an excuse to get out of the £1,000 rent they owe, on top of any cleaning and repair costs.
I'd agreed to meet at the dad's house. A little bit of apprehension, if I'm honest. And in my mind, I know exactly what I want to get out of this. And in their mind, they're probably thinking, I ain't getting nothing out of this. Don't know how this is going to go. Is it Ian?
It is. Come on in.
All right, good.
Hopefully we'll be able to chat better today. Walk straight through to the living room.
So, the problem I've got now is I've got an empty flat that the landlord isn't particularly happy with, and he wants me to make it nice again from when you moved in, but back to then. And he's not happy about picking up any of the cost. I have to say I'm disappointed with what I've found.
What found?
The carpets are going to have to come out, not due to the leak. The bedroom, for example, there was no leak in the bedroom, and that carpet's goosed.
Not really good.
How is it good?
And so's the corridor. Roughly speaking, that's £500–600 because it's not a cheap car. They brought the pictures. That's the property when you moved in. So
Yeah, I know it's going to be nice, mate. I'd give it half a do when I'd have gone like, but I'm happy no electric right now. Well, I shampooed the carpets and they're grey, they're going to get dirty, aren't they, mate?
To say clean carpets, I'd ask for my money back whoever did that for you.
No, I do it, mate. I've got a wet back.
It was all brand new when they moved in. And when they moved out, it's like they'd been living in here for 5 years.
It wouldn't have been half like that if I'd have moved out like a normal tenant. The fact is, I had no choice.
It's shocking to have your children destitute and worried.
You're laying it on thick now, man. They weren't destitute. My experience of dealing with tenants in arrears, it's always somebody else's fault. People will not accept responsibility for their own actions and their own situations.
We won't compensate for the damage to our property. I'm saying that the flood has caused 90% of this problem.
Tatties.
We'll itemise that for you and give you any photographs we can.
OK.
Yeah.
The other one is, of course, the rent arrears.
I can't pay for the month's rent when I'm not living there, man. No chance.
We need an electrician to say that's safe and well. Not you, not me. We can't have a debate on that because this is health and safety.
There's nothing wrong with the electrics.
Listen, you can say there's nothing wrong from now till doomsday, but are you a qualified electrician?
No, and I don't need to be. I'm considered a competent person, yeah?
No, I don't know that.
Yeah, I'm a competent
but
person.
I don't know that.
I'm a competent person.
Competent at what?
At assessing the level of risk involved with flicking that switch.
That's good for you. I'm glad you're that competent.
Yeah.
Have you got an electrical qualification?
No, and I don't need one for what I did either. Maybe, and I can't promise for a landlord, but maybe there can be some consideration for your inconvenience, whatever that might include.
That's what we need.
We give a bit, and they've obviously got to give a bit. But I want the rent, and I want the money for the damages they caused.
I want to sort it out amicably.
Yeah.
But if we can't, then we have to go down that legal route.
That's fine. I'm sure the landlord will be open to having that discussion. I'm happy to accept that we've reached as far as we're going to get today.
Verbally, yes, we've reached as far as we're going to get. You come up with a figure or whatever, and we'll come up with a figure. We're hoping that you can realise how traumatised they were from the event.
While it looks unlikely the tenants will pay all the money they owe,
OK, thanks.
the best Paul can hope for is they can agree a figure and pay it off. But he has his doubts.
Oh, well, that was a bit mentally challenging. In my view, they're clearly in the wrong in lots of areas, and there seems to be a lack of willingness to accept any of it, really. In short, they're trying to blame the leak and it tripping the electrics for everything else. I can see it now, the writing's on the wall. I can see it going right through the courts to the bailiffs. And they'll be clamping the car and everyone will be crying. I can see it coming now.
8 months on, the property has been repaired and re-let, costing over £2,000 in the process. Paul is still chasing this and the outstanding rent. The landlord is planning to take them to court. Next, in County Durham.
See you in court, RE spinal injury falling off decking that you never made safe. That'd be interesting.
Hello? In Brighton.
It's disgusting how you treat the homeless.
Okay. And in Blackpool.
Bloody hell. And this is how people live.
Landlord Duncan Belton has been trying to get his house back for nearly 4 months. Last night, he received the news he'd been waiting for. His tenant has finally left.
It's very exciting, finally getting their house back.
I think in this point, the tenant had longed it out as long as possible. She'd lived somewhere rent-free for 6.5 years. That's not bad going, to say the least.
It's took its time and it's cost some money, but at the end of the day, we've got the result that we wanted. But I haven't been to see it yet, so this should be interesting. Key works. Great. Ooh. No carpet. It was furnished when she took it. Oh, yes. There's obviously some water getting in there. That need a new door. Somebody must have tried kicking it in at some point. The door will be £300-400, I guess. She obviously wasn't a keen gardener. Very minging. I'm not putting my hand down there, that's for sure. Oh, she's left a note. The water's partially turned off so pipes won't freeze, as your unsafe boiler's been condemned, so don't turn it on. Your lead pipes need to be replaced, as does your roof. If she'd paid her rent, we'd have fixed all these problems, but because she never paid anything, she never contacted us. So none of those issues got sorted, because we didn't know about them. See you in court, RE, spinal injury, falling off decking that you never made safe. That'd be interesting.
After 6 years and more than £50,000 in unpaid rent and legal costs, Duncan finally has his property back.
Am I annoyed with myself that I allowed to get this far? Yes, I'm annoyed. I put it down to experience. I'll hopefully never get a tenant like that again. Or if I do, they certainly won't be staying there for that length of time.
To avoid further legal costs, Duncan decided not to pursue the tenant for the money owed. So she got away without paying any rent for 6 years. He now has new tenants.
Desperately needs the building back because it's costing them a fortune. They've had their time and now they need to get out.
Eviction lawyer Chris Sharpe has a squatter case on his hands.
There's always an element of uncertainty because you don't know how many people are in there. It wouldn't surprise me if there are upwards of 10, maybe 15 people there.
The landlord bought the property, once a bank, just over 18 months ago, with plans to develop it into flats. But squatters moved in soon after.
It's not just because a landlord wants them out so he can develop it. It's because it's dangerous.
They're really worried that it's going to cause injury to somebody, anybody who goes in there.
Chris is heading to court to try and win a possession order, and there's every chance the squatters will show up to contest it.
On paper, there should not really be any form of defence, but stranger things have happened. Result. It appears that they turned up half an hour late, but by that time it was all done and dusted. I've got the order. This very helpful court have drafted it for me, and we'll go over there now and deliver it.
Order granted. Chris needs to go straight to the property to deliver copies to any occupants. It warns that if they don't leave within 24 hours, bailiffs will remove them.
Because we had now been informed that these guys had turned up half an hour late, that did lead me to believe that they were still occupying the property. I was a little bit anxious as to what I might or who I might find there. Turning up to a property with a court order can be enough to ignite that powder pot into a scenario that might get out of hand. Hello? Got the court order for you. Can I have a word? Hi there, we've got the court order for you today, guys.
Yes.
So, I had for the...
We went to court, but...
Yeah, but you went too late, didn't you?
I went too late.
It was 11:30. You turned up at 12.
I was drinking since yesterday.
Oh, no. Oh, well, that does tend to make you a little bit glogger in the morning.
Yeah. What did he say?
Well, what it's saying is, you've got to give up possession straight away. It's ordering you to leave the property straight away.
When?
Forthwith.
But tell the landlord to give us time, at least. Make a time for us.
Yeah. Well, look, it's going to happen quite quickly now, guys. But look, it's Friday.
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to get anything arranged over the weekend. That's not going to be possible.
All right.
So whilst I can't give you permission to stay, I'm not, it's going to be difficult for us to get anything sorted out over the weekend.
Yeah, okay.
The squatter, Breezy, moved into the building 18 months ago, after being made homeless when he split up with his wife.
My name's Chris.
Pleased to meet you, Chris.
Your name is?
Breezy Man.
Breezy Man. Hi, Breezy Man. With Breezy, I think you're a genuine guy who just wanted somewhere else. He just needed help. He fully appreciated that I was there just doing my job.
If you gave us places to live, then we wouldn't have squats, sir, would we? If you had houses for the homeless, we wouldn't be having squats, would we, sir?
We wouldn't have to do this, mate, would we? Why can't you take care of the
You're
homeless?
happy to
Why can't you take care of the homeless? You can take
Are you taking care of them and housing them after this?
No.
Why are you just going to leave them on the street?
No, they know your enemy. Come on, they're just doing their job.
They're just doing their
why
job,
are we
sir.
pointing out
But there's
to
a way
five
to do the
people
job,
like-
isn't there?
Answer that
And surely you should have a backup plan if you're doing a job like this. As such, to house the homeless, not just kick them out on the street with nowhere to go. My name is... I've been 3 years homeless in this town. And it's disgusting how you treat the homeless.
OK, these other guys were trying to invoke a reaction.
Help the animals, we can't help the homeless, but homeless people and the humans are better than animals. Am I right or wrong?
Anyway, look...
You're right.
I don't want trouble. I need to get my job done. A, B, C, with nothing in between. Listen, thank you very much indeed.
All right, good.
Cheers now, all the best. Thank you. I'll keep this door closed for you.
Too close, yes.
Thank you.
Oh, he's rude, he's seen us! Look, he's seen us!
So there you go.
Oh, my dear God, no!
So you've got the guys in there who have been reasonable, and these guys who have come out of nowhere.
Breezy intends to comply with the order and leave the squat peacefully, but he has nowhere else to go.
Won't the local authority help you out?
You don't have nobody unless you are a junkie or you're doing needles or you got mental issue.
When I'm greeted by someone who is showing remorse or desperation, I have sympathy and I feel for these people. I really do. Can I call the local authority and ask them if they can get involved here? Would that help you?
Can you do any help so they can house me again?
I will gladly call the local authority.
Please, do that.
Breezy moved into emergency accommodation the week after, but more squatters soon took his place. With the restrictions on evictions due to COVID-19, the landlord is facing a lengthy and costly delay before he can get his property back.
There is a lot of poverty. People can't afford big rents, issues with drugs and alcohol. The town is actually rife with it. It's a never-ending cycle. It's continuous.
John Bartram is carrying out routine inspections on some of the properties he manages in Blackpool.
There's a hole at the back of the heater.
Ensuring the property is in good condition is vital for both the tenant and the landlord.
The hinge is actually broke on that window.
Rubbish everywhere.
Broken window. It's a typical property, how it's left.
The last tenant on his list has been on his radar for a few months.
The tenant's always been polite, but mixed in with the wrong crowds. We've told him, you know, you don't mix with these people, stop mixing with these people, they'll pull you down. Just having a general look about here, basically. Well, that's what I love to see. A wire in a meter, abstracting free electricity.
John's convinced the tampered meter belongs to the tenant he's on his way to see.
It's a common problem where they put a wire underneath the meter to bypass the workings of a meter. That is a piece of wire that they put between the two life terminals. Looking here, I think this was possibly the live wire, which it is, where he's actually cut the cable from. The heat of electricity burns, and it burns the wires, which creates a fire hazard, putting other residents at risk.
A man who lives on the floor below appears.
If you go in that flat, please be careful.
Where is he?
Don't know. I've run the place, I've done everything else, right, but I'll just be careful when you step in that flat upstairs.
You think, what the hell's happened here now? Knock, 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 knock. No answer. Bloody hell. Confronted by silver foil, needles, cutting boards for drugs. Oh, yeah, another one that we didn't know was on substance abuse. And this is how people live.
With no sign of the tenant, John will need to return to give him his final warning.
All you can do is make them aware of the obligations, the rights under the tenancy agreement, and either get their act together or they'll be made homeless.
2 months later, John evicted the tenant and relet the flat.
We've heard nothing from the tenant at all. Not been seen since.
Next.
Big healthy bird, that, isn't it? Yeah.
In Darwen.
That looks like it's been hit with something at that wall.
What weather? It got blown down.
Right, we've got a problem with your arrears. Oh dear. We're the largest letting agency in East Lancashire, and with that comes quite a kaleidoscope of characters.
Paul is on his way to chase another of his tenants for rent. A single mother of 3, Lara, who owes over £1,000.
We have been getting money, but it's just not enough. And when we were speaking to the guarantor last week, she was a bit concerned about the state of the house. So hopefully this isn't a mess, because it was lovely when she moved in and we're bang on.
Paul's arranged to carry out an inspection at the 3-bed property, with the help of his colleague, Reese.
OK, let's just go in. Hello?
Yes.
Hi, you all right?
Yes. It's a proper mess. Just do what you need to do and just go then.
Is that OK, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, well, won't take long. These were all new carpets when she moved in.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it just the one?
How many parrots have you got, love? 1. It's a big healthy bird, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
One thing I do know about parrots is they can take a nasty bite out of you. Take your finger off without thinking twice about it. Well, this weren't like this when she moved in. This was all mint. So I've been chewing the woodwork. Laura, you know the door casing in here? Yeah. What's happened to it, love?
Parrot did it.
The parrot did it?
Yeah. The granddad got some plaster and my granddad's doing it.
So your granddad's going to sort it out, is he? Right, OK. Let's have a look in backyard, because guarantor says there's some rubbish accumulating. What's happened to you then? It weren't like that when she moved in. Laura, what happened to the back wall?
Weather. It fell down.
What weather?
It all fell down, and then this pipe, right, a pipe, this here, it was busted out for ages, and I was, no one come out and fix it.
That looks like it's been hit with something at that wall.
What weather? It got blown down.
Concerned about the growing list of maintenance issues, Paul needs to ensure that Lara doesn't fall even further behind with the rent.
Right, we've got a problem with your arrears.
I know you have a big one.
Yeah. So are you getting your universal credit?
Yeah, I am, yeah, and it's, I'm struggling my knackers off with it, I'll be honest.
So they're not taking the housing benefit out of it?
No, I'm supposed to pay it.
Lara has been on housing benefits since moving into the property a year and a half ago. But for the last few months, she's been slipping behind with the rent.
I don't want to make things more difficult for you.
Well, I know you don't, but it's my arrears.
Can you make a payment to reduce...
Oh, I can't afford no gas at the minute.
Oh dear. How many kids have you got?
3.
The more it gets into the conversation, the more I start to feel sorry for the lass. People see you've got a soft spot or a nice side to you, they'll play on it and take advantage of it. We need him to come down, you see, Laura.
Yeah, I know, but I don't get no money till 22nd.
Now, how much do you
I don't know what to do about that.
And how much are you going to pay off then, do you think? Can we get
About 500.
You can agree to pay 500 off on
Yeah.
22nd?
Yeah.
You sure, eh?
Yes, I'm sure.
Good. You can stick to that. I can sort of keep off your case, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Lara agrees a payment plan to settle the arrears, and for future rent to be paid directly to the landlord.
That parrot must cost a few bob.
I'll never get rid of parrot.
No, it's a big one, isn't it?
Yeah, I've had a lot of years.
To me, this job's black and white. We have to put nice people into nice houses and get the rent off them. Don't forget about this.
I
If you
won't.
keep these extra payments coming, it'll bring your balance down, then we won't have a problem.
Yeah.
It sounds dead simple, but it gets stuck sometimes in the process. The wheels get stuck, you know, you got to lubricate them and free the stuck wheel, you know, getting the money basically. So have you got money for gas?
No.
So are you going to get gas on?
Well, we've sold it out, Anna. Ride it out.
But where are you going to get your money from for gas?
My mum, probably.
Will you get some money off her today?
Probably a tenner, yeah.
It's quite a while from now to when you get your next universal credit payment. 2 and a bit weeks. So how are you going to manage?
I don't know.
How are you going to do with food for kids?
Don't know.
Right, here. Stick that on your gas.
Aish, thank you. I really respect that.
Sometimes you just got to do your bit to help folk. It's not all about chasing debt and arrears and kicking folk out, you know. There's sometimes more to the job than that. A background in social work is probably a must-have these days. I'll leave you to it. Parrot's shouting you. Does it talk?
Sometimes.
You need to teach it to say,
Yeah.
don't forget to pay the rent.
Thank you.
All right, love.
See you soon.
Bye.
Oh, it's lovely, is that?
I've never done that before with a tenant, to give them money. She's clearly struggling. Yeah, 20 quid in it. Might buy me some goodwill with her as well. You know, so she might be my friend now.
Soon after, Paul arranges for Lara's housing benefit to be paid direct to the landlord. Her guarantor is gradually paying off the arrears.